Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has received a cable of thanks from custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in reply to His Majesty's condolences cable on the death of Her Royal Highness Princess Al Jawara bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. The Ministry of Housing issued a circular on non-issuance or transfer of real estate ownership to divided buildings before forming the Landlords Association Committee. The circular stipulates on not to issue ownership deeds of real estate or transfer it to buildings divided by apartments and layers for the new projects, unless rendered by the landlord to the structural system of the Landlords Association. The circular also stipulates on stopping deals of transferring real estate ownership for existing projects, the ownership deeds of which have already been issued, unless its registration in the ministry is proved. The circular has been issued after increasing complaints from landlords and tenants alike due to the technical failure in the services and provisions that must be available for the leaseholder. In completion of the remaining works of compensating those affected by Al Batina Coastal Project, the Ministry of Housing awarded the project of building 130 residential units in the wilayas of Saham and Shinas in the Governorate of North Al Batina. This project comes within the plan of setting up 2,200 residential units within the Al Batina Coastal Project. The cost of construction is evaluated at more than 5 million Omani Rial. The ministry agreed to establish 80 units within the same project in the wilaya of Saham with a cost exceeding 2 million Omani Rial. More than 226,000 citizens are working in the private sector until the end of last June, according to statistics issued by the Ministry of Manpower. More than 35,000 citizens have been employed since the beginning of January until June, whereas vacant work opportunities surpassed 21,000. The ministry pointed out that the electronic candidacy system of the job seekers witnessed a high turnout, as the system provides the opportunity to acquaint with updates of job vacancies and means of applying for them around the clock. Kuwait gave Yemeni talk parties 15 days to clinch a peace deal hosted by Kuwait under the auspices of the United Nations. Kuwait Deputy Foreign Minister Khaled Jarallah mentioned that Kuwait will apologize about the continuation of hosting the negotiations in case the Yemeni parties' dialogue failed to reach a peace deal in the specified time. After holding a meeting with the envoy of the UN Secretary General to Yemen, Ismail Sheikh Ahmed, Al-Jarallah renewed his country's stance towards success of Yemeni peace talks, which was resumed recently. Yemeni forces were able to regain control of some sites that were under the grip of Houthis and Ali Saleh forces in the border city of Harat of Hajj province. Yemeni authorities said that the Yemeni army, with support of Arab coalition warplanes, controlled the areas after a fierce fight with Houthis. Authorities also said a number of deaths and injuries fell from both sides, mentioning that fierce confrontations were still going on. Turkish lawmakers convened today to endorse sweeping new powers for President Recep Tayyip Erdogan that would allow him to expand a crackdown in the wake of the last week's failed coup. The 550-member parliament is set to approve Erdogan's request for a 3-month state of emergency. In an address to the nation yesterday, Erdogan announced a cabinet decision to seek the additional powers, saying the state of emergency would give the government the tools to rid the military of the virus of subversion. Under the Turkish constitution, the emergency measures allow the government to partially or entirely suspend the exercise of fundamental rights and freedoms, so long as it doesn't violate international law obligations. Before the vote, Deputy Prime Minister Numan Kurtulmuş said that once emergency measures are invoked, the country would suspend its participation in the European Convention of Human Rights, an international treaty meant to protect human rights and freedoms. The government has already imposed a crackdown that has included mass arrests and the closure of hundreds of schools. Additionally, 58,881 civil service employees have been dismissed, forced to resign, or had their licenses revoked. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry raised more than $2 billion during a conference at the State Department yesterday from donor donations in order to help Iraq as it takes territory from the Daesh militant group.
There is nobody at this table who would argue that the momentum hasn't shifted. It has shifted. And Daesh has been driven out of almost half the territory that once occupied in Iraq. That's the new challenge that we face, is securing and aiding in the recovery of a liberated area. As we are making progress, with significant portions of Iraq reclaimed, significant portions of Syria now beginning to be reclaimed, and large numbers of Daesh leadership taken off the field of battle completely. So our goal at this session is to raise at least $2 billion in new money to invest in 4 specific areas. These include humanitarian aid, direct aid to alleviate crisis immediately, demining assistance, immediate help for communities recently freed from Daesh, and the 4th category is the funding facility for expanded stabilization that will be described in greater detail over lunch. And this new facility is something that was recently conceived and only recently begun to be put together, aimed at aiding Iraq's recovery program over the longer term, not just the short term.
Torrential rain in North China's Hebei province that started yesterday has left 14 dead and 72 others missing. More than 1.99 million people in 11 cities in Hebei province reported rain-triggered disasters. About 123,000 people were evacuated over safety concerns. The Bureau has received reports that floods and landslides have destroyed more than 7,100 houses. The rain also damaged crops on 1.48 million hectares of farmland and disrupted traffic, power and communications. The Ministry of Civil Affairs and the National Commission for Disaster Relief have sent work groups to assist the disaster relief work. Relief goods, including tents, quilts and footwear, have been sent to the worst-hit cities, including Handan. Still to come in our news bulletin, a workshop on metal formation was conducted in the Governorate of South Batina as part of the Shababi program.
هنا الرائحة العالقة بالذاكرة تأخذنا دهشة مختلفة لتبهرنا بجمالها الآسر حيث ملتقى الأسرة. امنح نفسك شغف التجربة، فهنا حكاية الجمال لا تنتهي. مهرجان صلالة السياحي 2016 من 15 من يوليو إلى 31 من أغسطس. عمان، المحبة والوئام.
Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Within the development, modernization and expansion plans for facilities and services, the Royal Army of Oman inaugurated the printing building. It includes the latest modern equipment that cover all works of all Ministry of Defense's divisions, in addition to the Sultan's Armed Forces and Royal Guard of Oman. Qualifying national cadre to render high-quality services were also taken into account through intensified training. The inauguration ceremony was presided over by Major General Matar bin Salem al-Balushi, Commander of Royal Army of Oman. In order to provide an opportunity for small and medium-sized enterprises to display and promote their products, an exhibition was inaugurated for entrepreneurs at the Municipality Recreational Center in Salalah. The event is being supervised by the Public Authority for Small and Medium Enterprises Development. Various products are displayed in the exhibition, including perfumes, frankincense, sweets, clothes, and other traditional products. Work is continuing for the construction of Wadi Shafan mountainous roads in the Wilayah of Kabura in the Governorate of North Batina. Earlier, reaching these mountainous areas required great efforts and time. A number of services and projects were implemented in villages of Wadi Shafan. However, citizens urged concerned bodies to speed up work to complete the construction of roads in these beautiful areas, which are famous for its ancient buildings. Utilizing raw materials from the environment through recycling and using them in artistic works was the most important aim of a workshop on metal formation in the Governorate of South Batina. The event was part of Shababi program being supervised by the Ministry of Sports Affairs. The program will continue until the end of August. It also includes other social, cultural and sports activities that instill on the participants innovation and the importance of voluntary work and environment protection. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of Dhofar and its nearby mountains, with chances of intermittent drizzle and fog. High clouds are expected over the rest of the governorates, chances of cloud accumulation and scattered rain over the Hajar Mountains. Winds will be northeasterly light to moderate over the coast of Sea of Oman, while on the coastal areas of the Arabian Sea it will be southwesterly moderate to active. Seas will be rough along the coasts of the Arabian Sea with a maximum wave height of 4 meters and slight to moderate along the rest of the coasts with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The Ministry of Housing demands to form a Landlords Association committee to deal with shared buildings ownership deeds. More than 226,000 citizens are employed in the private sector until June. And Kuwait gives Yemeni parties 15 days to clinch a peace deal. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, it's good night.